So, in this session, we are going to talk about origin and evolution of life. 12th standard chapter of your biology. So, here, this is your syllabus. We are going to cover introduction, origin of life, and the different theories associated with it. And then organic evolution, we're going to talk about Darwin's theory, Hugo de Vries, Lamarck's theory, modern synthetic theory, and evolution of life evidences like paleontological, embryological, geological, adaptive radiation, Hardy-Weinberg principle, and lastly, origin and evolution of man. So it says that some scientists believe that the entire Earth or this entire universe has come into existence through a Big Bang. Okay, Big Bang theory, our Milky Way or our galaxy. Okay, there was a big explosion in the center which blew up particles. These particles formed different planets, stars, meteorites, asteroids. Okay, all these were formed from this explosion which was there in the center. So it was believed that earlier the Earth was a hot ball of fire, then slowly the outer surface cooled, okay, and there was rainfall for 100 years. It was raining. That's how the craters of the earth filled to form the oceans, seas, rivers, etc. Okay, and the core of the earth, if you see, is still a mass of fire. So some scientists believe in the Big Bang theory. Then now, according to different scientists, we have the definition of evolution. So evolution is a slow process. It does not happen overnight. Then it is a gradual, orderly change from one condition to another condition that is given by Herbert. Let's see what Darwin has to say. Evolution is the gradual descent with modification. That means, like it was said that giraffe earlier was having short height. Then it tried to eat because of the competition amongst the herbivorous animals. It tried to eat uh, leaves which were at the top of the tree. Okay, so slowly its height gradually, because of variation that is only observed in sexual reproduction, because of that variation the height of the giraffe slowly went on increasing through the different generations, and today giraffe is the tallest animal. Same goes with the horse height was not as much as it is today. It was very low, just a little above the dog's height. Then because we used horses for riding or for उसके ऊपर वजन डाल के उसको लेकर जाता है, कोई बैगेज डाल के लगेज डाल के उसके ऊपर लेकर जाते हैं, तो धीरे धीरे slowly what happened, the height of the horse also increased. So that is called as evolution. Okay, that is evolution. So this is what early earth looked like. Okay, hot ball mass of fire wherein there was little or no oxygen. Gases in the atmosphere were hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and water. These were the gases present. All these are theories. Okay, so this is what the early earth looked like. Okay, hot ball mass of fire or lava everywhere, comets, meteorites, asteroids striking the earth's surface. Then after some time, after cooling a little, the earth looked something like this. All these are now imaginary pictures. See, now let me tell you that no theory till date explains the exact way of how evolution has taken place, because this is like millions of years ago. So no one was there at that time to witness how exactly the earth was formed, or how exactly the first organism on this planet has come into existence. Okay, so it is said that universe forms 13 to 15 billion years ago. Can you imagine that? Our sun forms 5 billion years ago, earth forms 4.6 billion years ago, the first prokaryotic cells 3.2 to 4.3 billion years ago. Okay, so it is unimaginable. Then summary of origin of earth: Big Bang, then matter and energy, celestial bodies. We're going to talk about all the solar system, origin of earth, right? So here, the first theory of evolution is said to be as special creation, which is given in different mythologies. Let that be the Hindu mythology, or the Christian mythology, or the Islam. We all believe that if there is this beautiful earth which has been created, there has to be a creator. So, according to the Christian theory postulated by the Father Suarez, who says that the first day God created heaven and earth, day 2 sky and the clouds, day 3 dry land and plants, day 4 sun, moon and star, day 5 fishes and fowl, day 6 animals and humans. So, and the first man was created was Adam, and woman was Eve. According to the Hindu mythology, it is Manu and Sharda. Okay, and according to Islam also, I think it's something Adam as Salam, and something related to this, or the Adam and Eve. So now this is what had been postulated, but scientists are cunning and clever. They say that if on day 4 you are saying that sun, moon, and star has been developed, so how did you count the first 3 days? Okay, if on day 4 sun, moon, and star, if there was no sun, moon, and star, how did you count day 1, day 2, day 3? So these are the, I mean, you can say logical or cross questioning done by the scientists. So this theory had certain limitations, okay, and that's why this was discarded. It is not having scientific proofs. That's why scientists don't believe in this. Then we are having, yeah, this is another picture of the special creation. Then we are having theory of spontaneous generation. Okay, theory of spontaneous generation. It is said that it was believed earlier that animals were coming from non-living things. Okay, it was believed like that. Okay, spontaneously they used to generate. Like lice, they said that lice is generating from human sweat. Flies are generating from rotten meat. Fish, frogs, and turtle are generating from mud and soil. Snakes from dead man's hair. All this is like almost rubbish, but that was the time where people did not have much knowledge. They used to believe this. Okay, later on, Louis Pasteur, he created certain experiments and proved that life can come only from pre-existing life. Life cannot come just like that. Life can only come from pre-existing life. But again, he was not able to answer the question: how did the first life come into existence? So he proved by taking a piece of meat, cut. He kept one piece of meat which was covered, and the other piece of meat which was open. So the covered piece of meat did not develop maggots, but the open piece of meat developed maggots. So that's how he proved that it was life was coming from pre-existing life. Okay, so no scientific proofs were available. That is the limitation, discarded totally by the scientific experiments which I just told you. Then this hot ball of fire, which was considered as a primordial soup. Okay, in which there were certain nutrients. I'll talk about that a little later. So this is the panspermia or the cosmozoic theory. In this theory, it is believed that first life is alien. Okay, it is come like aliens have come sitting on comets. They came over here, or asteroids, meteorites. They sat on that. They came over here, and that's how the life on Earth began. So it is believed that aliens invaded the Earth first, and they settled over here, and that's how we are the descendants of those aliens. So that's what this theory says. But I don't agree. I don't ask you to believe in this or believe in any of the theories. These are just theories. Okay, so then next theory is biogenesis. This is the most acceptable theory, which is accepted by the scientists, and which says that it is having some scientific logic in it. So sorry, in this we are going to talk about the Earth and primitive atmosphere. You just saw how the Earth and primitive atmosphere was. Okay, then formation of ammonia, H2O, and methane. This was proved by Urey and Miller's experiment. I'll just show you that experiment. We'll come back to these slides. Okay, now this was Urey and Miller's experiment. So what they did in this experiment is that they heated this solution, okay, water, and they released this water vapor was coming over here, and they released methane, ammonia, and hydrogen gas over here, and they did continuous lightning effect. Like continuous sparks were being generated just to simulate the lightning effect at that time when the Earth was being formed. Okay, so after continuous circulation of water vapor coming here, methane is here, ammonia is here, hydrogen gas is here, because early Earth was having these gases, and then this water got condensed. After condensing, we kept this closed initially, this tap closed, and we allowed this to circulate for a few weeks. This kept on happening for a few weeks, and then we opened this tap and we collected some sample. To your surprise, in this sample we found amino acids. Right, now amino acid is the, you can say, basic unit of protein, and proteins form the structural unit of life. Okay, structural unit of life is the cell, but the cell is basically what your the structure of your body is because of proteins. So that's how this theory gave rise to some thoughts that yes, this was how the first cell was formed. Like first, these things, ammonia, methane, hydrogen, chemical evolution it is said to be. These chemicals combined, they formed amino acids. Amino acid must have formed proteins. Then monosaccharides must have been formed. Then monosaccharide formed carbohydrates. That's how it was believed. And the first cell was formed. The first cell was like this: biospheres or coacervates, liposomes. Okay, like these cells were formed, but without life. And suddenly they said that once the this thing coacervate or liposome was ready, life started in it, and that's how the first cell was formed. So that is what is believed. Okay, so first thing was formation of ammonia, water and methane. I've shown you in the urine and minerals experiment. Then synthesis of organic molecules, small organic molecules like amino acids, monosaccharides were synthesized. Then formation of amino acids, formation of protobiont. Protobiont is a primitive cell without life. Then formation of the first cell, now cell with life. And biological evolution, the coacervate and microsphere theory, I've spoken about this. Then this is a very important chart. I want you to note this down. Right. So the primitive Earth was hot revolving ball of gas. It was inorganic molecules initially. Inorganic molecules combined, ammonia, water, methane. They combined. I've shown you simple organic molecules were formed. Then complex organic molecules. Then coacervates. I've shown you the picture of coacervate, protobionts, progenotes. Progenotes was our common ancestor. That is what is said. Okay. Now from progenotes, this class we got a different kind of cells. That is algae. Then algae was it gave rise to the plant kingdom. Okay, then algae further developed. Algae is what a mass of cells which can perform photosynthesis. So algae converted into bryophytes, primitive plants, non-flowering plants. Who? The bryophytes. Okay, primitive non-flowering plants are called as bryophytes. They are not having true leaves, true shoots. They are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Then bryophytes further developed into pteridophytes. They are more advanced. Again, they are non-flowering, but they are having true leaves, true shoot, true root. Okay, then they further developed into gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are flowering plants. Gymnosperms are angiosperms, and gymnosperms are having naked seeds, open seeds, whereas angiosperms are having enclosed seeds. Right, in that also we are having two types, monocot and dicot seeds. So angiosperms are the most developed plants on earth. Even humans have an important role in developing the angiosperms because we have done a lot of agriculture and we have developed these angiosperms. So angiosperms have special features which the other plants don't have, like they have xylem tracheids. Okay, then they have phloem fibers, cambium. Okay, these internal microscopic features are advanced in angiosperms as compared to the gymnosperms. So angiosperms are the most developed plants on earth. Then the progenote also formed fungi. Now fungi are generally saprophytic. They live on dead and decaying matter. Then fungi can be further classified into then mushrooms, yeast. Unicellular fungi is yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Then mushroom, edible mushroom, non-edible mushroom, and many other fungi. Okay, trichophyton and their series sporangium and all that. Okay, then we are having bacteria, right? Bacteria further, now bacteria can be further classified into gram positive, gram negative bacteria, that is cell wall thick, cell wall thin. Right, then bacteria are again you can also use another classification, that is aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, and this kingdom continues, that is they belong to the kingdom protista. Okay, sorry, kingdom monera. Okay, protista में protozoa आएंगे ये वाले. Okay, so then protozoans further developed into like unicellular protozoans develop into lower invertebrates, then lower invertebrates into higher invertebrates, that is fish and all. From higher invertebrates to lower vertebrates, and then higher vertebrates, and then mammal, then our aves, uh, that is fish, aves, tetrapods, basically reptiles and all, they come under the higher vertebrates. So this is the entire theory of chemical evolution and organic evolution. Okay, so an important chart there. Then we are having these theories of organic evolution. Now theories of organic evolution, Darwin's theory says that it is having some postulates, right? So Darwin very well explained the survival of the fittest, but could not explain something called as the arrival of the fittest. He could not explain how the first cell came, but he was very well able to explain how different organisms have evolved and how new organisms were formed. So first point of his theory is overproduction. Now if you see this, this is seen in each and every organism. Each and every organism is able to overproduce. Like if you say for example we are having a cow and a bull. Okay, so a bull, for producing one calf, the bull will produce 50 crores of sperms. Right, out of that only one sperm will be selected, and that sperm will give rise to the calf. It will unite with the egg, of course, and give rise to the calf. So for one calf, how many sperms are produced? N number of sperms are produced. If you see octopus, when it reproduces, when it produces those eggs, it bursts, it dies itself. It releases 10,000 different eggs. Okay, half of them are eaten by different aquatic animals. Okay, and very few out of those 10,000, only 7 to 8 octopus are able to survive later on. So they are also having a capacity of overproduction. So every organism, if you see now in pollen grains also, does only one pollen grain is produced? No, crores of pollen grains are produced. Okay, especially in anemophily or wind pollination, there are crores of pollen grains produced. They fly in different directions, and only few of them are able to achieve life. So every organism has a capacity to produce. Overproduction is the law of nature. Okay, then struggle for existence. Now struggle for existence is there for each and every organism. Okay, now which kind of struggle are we talking about? Now struggle for existing is, first thing is struggling for food, land, water and mate. Okay, food, land, water and mate, this is the common struggle amongst organisms. You can see, let that be humans or let that be dogs. Okay, they are struggling for land, food, water and mate. There is competition, there is struggle between organisms of the same species, that is called as the intra-specific struggle, and organisms of different species, that is called as inter-specific struggle. So intra-specific struggle and inter-specific struggle. Then there is also struggle with the environment. Climate is changing. Okay, suddenly winter is starting, then suddenly in between it was raining. So we are also struggling with the environment. Okay, struggling with the environment. See, humans have created different ways of struggling. If there is rain, we have created umbrella. If there is too much of cold, we've created jackets and blankets. But if you look at the animals, okay, animals don't have any kind this kind of sources. Okay, they are actually struggling with the environment. Okay, then we are having variation and heredity. Okay, heredity is are those things which are inherited from your parents, and variation are those characters or those features which are different from your parent. So that is variation. So variation and heredity. Then survival of the fittest. Only the fit is allowed to survive. You know why nature follows this rule? This was postulated by Darwin, and it is very much true that only the fit are allowed to survive. Why? Because if the unfit is allowed to survive, okay, if you are surviving, that means you are fit. Because if unfit is allowed to survive by nature, दया नेचर ने दया खा लिया, यार जान दे ये अनफिट, इसको सर्वाइव करने दे, तो वो आगे जाके रिप्रोड्यूस करेगा. और वो जब आगे जाके रिप्रोड्यूस करेगा, तो unfit will give rise to unfit only. Unfit will reproduce unfit, and slowly, if unfit people are allowed to reproduce and allowed to survive, then they will form a community of unfit organisms. Okay, let that be humans or let that be and other animals. Okay, so unfit ka community ban jayega, and slight change in the weather, slight change in the climate, all these will die at one time because they are unfit. They will not be able to survive that change. So because this should not happen, okay, and that entire species will become extinct. So this should not happen. That's why nature allows only the survival of the fittest, and unfit ko survive karne nahi deta hai nature. Okay, then origin of new species. Okay, so now if you see these animals, like if you observe leopard, cheetah or tiger, lion, okay, so these all belong to the cat family, and they are very closely related. Okay, they're very closely related. So it must have happened like isolation ke मामले में कि these were one species earlier, and maybe because of tectonic movements or some earthquake or something, it created a valley in between. So half of the organisms were here, half of the organisms were on the left hand side, or maybe a mountain was created and these organisms got separated because of geographical isolation, or some of the organisms reproductive isolation, that is they changed their reproductive behavior, mating seasons got changed. So slowly the organisms on the right hand side and the organisms on the left hand side, they started developing as a different species, but although they were still closely related. Like if you observe a cheetah and a leopard, they are very similar. Okay, so they come from one species, that's what Darwin says, and later on they have bifurcated to form different species. Okay, so that is geographical isolation and reproductive isolation. That's how new species are forming. That's what Darwin says. Then Hugo de Vries theory of mutation, studying of evening prime rose, is also called as a 4 o'clock plant. Mirabilis jalapa is the biological name of that plant. So he studied, actually there was mutation in this plant, but that time he did not know mutation. He thought that it is evolution. But his theory, his study has helped us in understanding evolution better. Then we have the modern synthetic theory. in this modern synthetic theory, we are having genetic variations, that is change in gene and gene frequency due to. Now it says that new character or new feature is incorporated in an organism only after the change in gene frequency and gene pool. Now how does gene pool change, or how the gene frequency will change, how there will be mutation in the genes? Okay, so the first point is like gene mutation. It is because of, see, you know that DNA is always copied from one cell to the other cell. I mean, DNA, you all have studied DNA replication, right? So we have the old strand and the new strand. It is semi-conservative replication of DNA. So when DNA is copied, when DNA is replicated, that time there is some error. It is called as aberration also. Okay, so that error leads to gene mutation. कुछ base pairs ऊपर नीचे हो गए, तो it will give rise to some changes, and that changes are called as gene mutation. Then gene flow. Now gene flow, say for example, like Britishers came to India. Okay, here they mated the Indian women, maybe forcefully or maybe by will. So what happened? The genes from Britishers flew into India. See, Indians have always had black eyes. Okay, we are a little dark skinned and black eyed, but whatever blue eyes have come in, like you can see some Indian with blue and gray eyes. So somewhere in their ancestors, it has come from the Britishers. Okay, the genes from Britishers have come in. So that is the gene flow. Okay, then genetic recombinations. At times genes can automatically recombine, like while copying, while crossing over, they can recombine and form a new feature. Okay, that is called as hybrid vigor, which is like a feature which is better than the parents. The offsprings are having, the progeny is having a feature which is better than the parents. That is called as genetic recombination. Then genetic drift. Genetic drift meaning, now say for example, there is an island. Okay, so in on that island there are some refugees which come from altogether a different country, so the genetic drift will take place. Okay, then after genetic drift we are having chromosomal aberrations. Aberrations meaning error. Okay, chromosomal aberrations, like there is trisomy on the 21st chromosome, it leads to the Down syndrome, mental retardation. Fifth chromosome ka short arm delete ho gaya, it will lead to the cry du chat syndrome. The cry du chat is a French word. The baby will cry like a cat. It will not be able to survive for more than 5 years just because fifth chromosome ka short arm delete ho gaya hai. So these things will lead to even the Klinefelter syndrome is because of the chromosomal aberrations. So any problem in the, this is called as a genetic disease, genetic disorder. So if there is any problem in the chromosomes, it leads to because of chromosomal aberrations, it leads to severe diseases which the individual has to face throughout its life. Okay, then natural selection. Now in natural selection we are having, like you can see this moth over here. So this is a you can say cream colored moth, and this is a black colored moth. Okay, so this moth, black colored moth, was earlier, what was happening, let's understand it in detail. Like this is the point of I mean, this was happening in Great Britain, wherein we had trees. These trees were kind of creamish in color. Why they were creamish in color? Because they had lichens growing on them. Lichen is a combination of algae and fungi growing on them, so they were cream in color. So जो cream color के plant मतलब ट्री पर, बार्क पर अगर क्रीम कलर का मॉथ बैठ जाए तो वो क्या हो जाएगा, कैमोफ्लाज्ड हो जाएगा. क्रीम के ऊपर क्रीम. अभी ये व्हाइट बैकग्राउंड के ऊपर मैं व्हाइट इंक से कुछ लिखूं तो दिखेगा नहीं आपको. व्हाइट बैकग्राउंड पर रेड इंक से, ब्लू इंक से, ब्लैक इंक से लिखा तो दिखेगा. Isn't it? So वैसे ही क्रीम कलर के बैकग्राउंड पे क्रीम कलर का मॉथ बैठता था, वो दिखाई नहीं देता था, कैमोफ्लाज हो जाता था. ठीक है, तो बर्ड्स को दिखता नहीं था, बच जाता था. लेकिन ब्लैक कलर का मॉथ उसके ऊपर कॉन्स्पिक्यूअस था. कॉन्स्पिक्यूअस मतलब क्लियरली विजिबल, उठ के दिखता था. व्हाइट बैकग्राउंड पे ब्लैक कलर का डॉट भी कर दूं तो भी वो दिखाई देगा. So black colored moths were conspicuous and clearly visible. They saw the birds were able to predate them very easily. ठीक है, उनको क्लियरली दिख जाता था, खा लेते थे उसको. तो पॉपुलेशन ऑफ ब्लैक मॉथ्स वेंट ऑन डिक्रीजिंग एंड पॉपुलेशन ऑफ व्हाइट मॉथ्स वेंट ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. तो फिर क्या हुआ, धीरे धीरे इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन हो गया. इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन मतलब देयर वाज लॉट ऑफ फैक्ट्रीज सेट अप इन ग्रेट ब्रिटेन, एंड बिकॉज ये फैक्ट्रीज धुआं निकाल रहे थे, धुआं आके डिपॉजिट हो गया बाक्स पे. वो बाक्स जो क्रीम कलर के थे अब ब्लैक कलर के हो गए. अब जब ब्लैक कलर के हो गए तो ब्लैक कलर के बैकग्राउंड पे ब्लैक कलर का मॉथ कैमोफ्लाज हो गया, दिखाई नहीं देने लगा, क्लियरली दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. और व्हाइट कलर का जो मॉथ था वो अभी कॉन्स्पिक्यूस हो गया, यानी कि क्लियरली विजिबल हो गया. तो धीरे 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 फिर नेचर ने सिलेक्ट किया क्या, कि ब्लैक कलर के मॉथ का पॉपुलेशन धीरे धीरे बढ़ते गया और व्हाइट कलर के मॉथ का पॉपुलेशन फिर कम होते गया. सो दैट इज अबाउट your natural selection, and we've talked about isolation, right? Geographical and reproductive isolation. So this is the Darwin's theory. अभी हमको evidences देखने हैं about biological evidences, right? These are supporting the evolution theory given by Darwin. सो फर्स्ट इज पैलेंटोलॉजिकल एविडेंसेस, फॉसिल्स एंड कनेक्टिंग लिंक. तो दो तरीके के फॉसिल्स होते हैं. एक फॉसिल्स वो होता है जो एम्बॉस हो गया है, ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ द बोन्स एंड ऑल द बोन्स ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम दिस सॉइल फॉर्म रॉक्स. सो बोन्स बीच में आ गए सॉइल फॉर्मेशन के बीच में, तो ये रॉक के ऊपर एम्बॉस हो गया ऐसे ऐसे ऐसे. सो दीज आर द यू कैन से डेड फॉसिल्स. ओके, फॉसिल्स तो है बट डेड. दूसरा होता है इंटैक्ट फॉसिल, ठीक है. इंटैक्ट फॉसिल मतलब एक ऐसा मैमोथ नाम का एक एलिफेंट है, बड़े टस्क वाला, और हेरी एलिफेंट है बहुत. तो वो हेरी एलिफेंट, पूरा का पूरा एलिफेंट मिल गया मे बी समवेयर इन अंटार्कटिका, पूरे आइस क्यूब में था, बड़े आइस क्यूब में. सो दैट इज एन इंटैक्ट फॉसिल. और एक फॉसिल होता है लिविंग फॉसिल. लिविंग फॉसिल मतलब वो जिंदा है, तभी भी था, मतलब करोड़ों साल पहले भी और आज भी है. जैसे आर्की बैक्टीरिया एंशिएंट बैक्टीरिया है, तभी भी था अभी भी है, राइट. देन जिम्नोस्पर्म्स में एक प्लांट है जिसका नाम क्या है, इट्स अ चाइनीज हर्ब, दैट इज ऑल्सो, हाँ, जिनसेंग, जिनसेंग उसका नाम है. सो दैट जिनसेंग इज ऑल्सो अ लिविंग फॉसिल, तभी भी था अभी भी है. सो इट इज स्टिल लिविंग, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ लिविंग फॉसिल. सो लिविंग फॉसिल, डेड फॉसिल, इंटैक्ट फॉसिल. ओके, तो ये सारे देखो हमको ये भी मिले हैं, लाइक स्कल्स भी मिले. दैट इज हाउ इट हैज बीन प्रूव्ड दैट मैन हैज इवॉल्व्ड फ्रॉम apes and slowly into human. We're going to talk about this in evolution of man. And this is a bird, this is a connecting link between the reptiles and the birds. It said that reptiles धीरे 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 they started flying, and that's how they converted into birds. Okay, so ये Archaeopteryx, it's a connecting link. मतलब इसमें आधे फीचर्स रेप्टाइल्स के हैं और आधे फीचर्स बर्ड्स के हैं. तो इसमें अगर आप देखोगे, सो इट हैज क्लॉज फॉर पर्चिंग, द हाइंड लिम्स हैव मॉडिफाइड टू क्लॉज. इट इज द माउथ हैज मॉडिफाइड इनटू अ बीक, बट बीक इज स्टिल हैविंग टीथ. अगर आपको दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है तो जरा जूम करके दिखाता हूं. ओके, सो इट इज हैविंग टीथ. ओके, देन एट द सेम टाइम इट इज हैविंग फेदर्स, बट फेदर्स के साथ में स्केल्स भी है. और फोर लिम्स आर मॉडिफाइड इनटू फेदर्स, बट सामने इधर जो हैंड्स है, मतलब क्लॉज है, वो भी दिखाई दे रहे हैं. तो दोनों फीचर्स है, रेप्टाइल के भी फीचर्स है और इसके रेप्टाइल्स के भी फीचर्स है और बर्ड्स के भी फीचर्स इसमें है. ओके, सो दिस इज अबाउट आर्कियोप्टेरिक्स. इट्स अ कनेक्टिंग लिंक. जैसे और एक है द डक बिल्ड प्लैटिपस इज द कनेक्टिंग लिंक बिटवीन बर्ड्स एंड मैमल्स. सो बर्ड्स और मैमल्स, बोलते हैं कि बर्ड्स से मैमल्स बने, तो वो ऐसा एक डक बिल्ड प्लैटिपस है जो मैमरी ग्लैंड से फीड करता है यंग वंस को, बट एग्स ले करता है. तो इट्स अ कनेक्टिंग लिंक बिटवीन बर्ड्स एंड मैमल्स. ओके, सो ऐसे अलग अलग कनेक्टिंग लिंक्स है. देन these are now some other evidences, like these are the anatomical evidences of homologous structures and analogous structures. Now homologous मतलब क्या? homologous मतलब आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे ह्यूमन का हैंड है, कैट का फीट है, वेल का फिन है और बैट का फिन है, विंग है. ओके, तो इन सब के फंक्शंस अलग अलग है. ह्यूमन हैंड अलग फंक्शंस करता है, कैट का फीट रन करने में मदद करेगा, वेल का फिन स्विम करने की मदद करेगा और बैट का विंग फ्लाई करने में मदद करेगा. फंक्शंस सबके अलग अलग है, बट अगर आप देखोगे तो उनके स्ट्रक्चर सेम है. सब में 5 डिजिट्स है, इसमें भी 5 डिजिट्स है, 5 डिजिट्स 5 डिजिट्स 5 डिजिट्स. सो स्ट्रक्चरली दे आर सेम, फंक्शनली दे आर डिफरेंट. This is called as homologous structures. And what are analogous structures? Analogous structures are functionally they are same. Bat का wing, butterfly का wing, bird का wing. Structurally they are different, but functionally they are same. What is the function? All of them are helping to fly, but structurally they are different. यहाँ पे structurally they are same, functionally they are different. So we have, it is said that because they are structurally same, it is said that we have evolved from a common ancestor. ठीक है, चाहे whale हो, चाहे bat हो, चाहे cat हो, चाहे human हो, we have all evolved from a common ancestor. In fact, all of these are mammals. Bat is a flying mammal. Let me tell you, bat is a flying mammal. Whale is a swimming mammal, मतलब पानी में रहने वाला. Okay, cat obviously it is a mammal living on land, and human तो आपको पता ही है. ओके, सो होमोलोगस एंड एनालोगस स्ट्रक्चर्स. फिर और एक एम्ब्रियोलॉजिकल एविडेंसेस है, ये कहते हैं कि इसमें फर्स्ट स्टेज में अगर आप देखो किसी का भी एम्ब्रियो देखो तो वो सेम रहता है, किसी का भी, राइट. मतलब फिश रहने दो, सैलामेंडर रहने दो, टॉर्टोइज रहने दो, चिक रहने दो, रैबिट, मैन, ऑल द एम्ब्रियोज लुक द सेम. इवन एन एक्सपर्ट कैन नॉट आइडेंटिफाई इन द फर्स्ट look that whose embryo it is. By the time it reaches the second and third stage, we are able to identify, but first stage में embryo सबका same है. This is proving that embryos are we have coming from the common ancestor. That's why embryos सबके क्या है, same. Okay, ना ये डार्विन्स फिंचेस है। अभी डार्विन एक बार गैलापागोस आइलैंड पे गया था, और गैलापागोस आइलैंड पे एचएमएस बीगल नाम की शिप में बैठ के गया था। ओके, तो वो ग्रुप ऑफ आइलैंड्स पे उसने ऑब्जर्व किया, कुछ कीन ऑब्जर्वेशंस किए। वहां पे मार्सुपियल मैमल्स भी मिले उसको। बड़ा मार्सुपियल मैमल्स, लाइक आप देखो ऑस्ट्रेलिया इज अ सेपरेट कॉन्टिनेंट, और वहां के ऑर्गेनिजम्स यहाँ के ऑर्गेनिजम्स के साथ मैच नहीं होते। यू कैन सी कैंगरू ओनली इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, वो अलग ही है। ठीक है, इट इज पीछे से हाइंड लिम्स इतने पावरफुल है कि जंप करता है, शॉर्ट फोर लिम्स शॉर्ट है, पाउच है। ठीक है, जिसमें उसके बच्चे को, यानी कि जोई बोलते हैं उसको, तो जोई को वो कहाँ पे रखता है, अपने पाउच में रखता है। आधा उसका डेवलपमेंट पेट के अंदर होता है, मतलब यूटरस में होता है, और आधा डेवलपमेंट आफ्टर द बर्थ पाउच में होता है। तो that is a different kind of breed altogether, different kind of organism species altogether, that is kangaroo. तो गैलापागोस आइलैंड पे, अलग हर एक आइलैंड पे उसको डार्विन को फिंचेस दिखे। डार्विन वाज अ कीन ऑब्जर्वर, ओके, विद अ क्यूरियस माइंड। तो ही सॉ दैट दीज फिंचेस वर हैविंग स्लाइट डिफरेंसेस, मतलब उनकी बीक में, उनके आंखों में, उनके कलर में अलग अलग डिफरेंसेस देखने को मिले। तो इसने, डार्विन ने इससे क्या डिसाइड किया, या क्या प्रूव करने की कोशिश की, कि दीज नाउ दे ऑल आर फिंचेस लिविंग ऑन दीज आइलैंड्स, ग्रुप ऑफ आइलैंड्स, but slowly, because they are not mating with each other, they will develop into different species altogether. Slowly evolution hota jayega, variations aate jayenge, and they will develop into a different species altogether. Okay, so that is about the Darwin's theory. Now Hardy Weinberg principle we will record in our following session, because ये वीडियो बहुत लंबा हो रहा है फिर। ठीक है,